Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to be talking about how to turn your marketing data into a winning campaign. Welcome everybody. I think we can give a few minutes for everybody to join, but co-hosting here today is Steph. Steph, thanks so much.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope everyone's ready for a real like a jam-packed kind of step by step. We're going to hold your hand through this one because we understand that not everyone, you and I, but everyone has the knowledge, and some people just have the knowledge, but they just want to speed up the process. So like they have the data, but they stare at it and they just think like, what's going on here? What must I do with all this? And that's where we come in, right?
But that's the biggest question, though, right? Is like, what do we do with all this data? I guess because Google Analytics has made it really easy for us to dive into these sorts of data with the GA4. The delay with the feedback from the data has always been quite a headache for me, I guess. The other part, you get quite a lot of data from Facebook. What exactly to do with that? People always have 10, 12, 15 questions around that in just about any marketing meeting, like how are we doing? How are we tracking? Why is this happening? Why is that not happening? And I guess like a lot of what we're going to chat about today is how to practically use that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it's really important to consider the fact that we as marketing agents, a lot of the time we look at the industry at large and think up campaigns based on what we see, but how much more effective can it not be when you use your own data and competitor hard-hitting data to kind of form those, as opposed to just seeing something you like that may be very subjective. So yeah, ready for it.
I also find, Steph, like sometimes it's very difficult to, you want to be creative, but sometimes you have to be creative within a parameters that's not only on brand, but also backed by some data.
Absolutely, absolutely. To make that informed decisions and not just kind of wing it.
No, great. So, Steph, I think we were 4 minutes in. Let's dive in. Take the floor if you don't mind. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Today we're talking about unlocking AI and specifically focusing on how to use your data and specifically your metadata, how to turn that into tangible, actionable campaigns. Previously, in previous lives, we've talked about creating that campaign with AI. But today we're going to take that data and we're going to just show you how to generate campaign ideas that you are almost 100% sure will be effective. Okay, so jumping into it, intro. What platforms do we prefer and why? Okay, so my preference is Perplexity purely because Perplexity is connected to the web. It can do searches beyond just what you give it. So I prefer Perplexity. Of course, you can use any other. You can use other ChatGPTs, or Claude, but Perplexity I find works the best. And these are the prompts that I'm going to give you. Just a reminder, I'm going to give you 5 prompts. They're going to be quite lengthy, but if you want them, just comment Colossio down below, and we'll send you a document with all these prompts that you can literally just copy paste out. Okay, so to jump into the first one is analyzing your data. Now, the first thing you have to do before even touching any kind of Perplexity is you need to go to your Meta Ads account and download your data. As much data as you can, the more the better. But download that CSV file. I'm going to give you just the insights as to how our CSV file looks. This is literally just a list of the ads that we've been running, that we've ran in the past, as well as kind of the raw data that we have here. Now, as a marketer, this makes sense to you. As a business owner, you kind of know what's going on here, but you don't really know what to do with this. Don't worry, you have the CSV file, and this is where you hold your data. So, jumping into it, this is going to be your first prompt. And we are going to work from the inside out. You've got your raw data, but you need to feed it to Perplexity so that it can gain context of the data, what it should. So to analyze the data, first things first, you want to determine your highest performing ads in post, preferably ads. And those high performing ads need to be pulled out based on certain variables. The variables that I chose would be engagement metrics and your click-through rates, because in my mind, those would be your call to actions. Those were people actually engaging with this ad. So what you've done was you've taken this prompt, you've asked it to review the attached document, which I'll show you now. I actually did it on Perplexity previously, so I can show you how it looks. And then you've provided the social media URLs there. You've added the document and you've asked it to determine the ads that perform the best and why, focusing on engagement and traffic generation. So how that's going to look is, that's going to look like this. This is the prompt I put in. I put Colossia's information in there. And this is what you're going to get. It's going to pull out the ads that, according to the variables that you gave it, for example, in this case, click-through rate and engagement metrics, it's going to show you that the new engagement ad performed the best. This is why. The new leads, marketing automation, these are what, according to the engagement stats, do the best. Click-through rates should be similar, but if not, for example, this first one here has a much higher click-through rate than it does engagement. So this is just builds the context. I would limit the variables to 2, engagement metrics and click-through rate, just so that you don't muddy the pool of information Perplexity uses. Now, this is really important because now you've fizzled down your raw data into a few hard-hitting campaigns that you know worked in the past. Okay. Now you've got your ads. Now you've got your high-performing ads and high-performing ads based on engagement and clicks. Okay. Next, you're going to determine the variables. Now, this is really important because you are now going to take these ads and you're going to ask the AI to dissect them. This is a problem that Travis and I have experienced when working with our marketing as a service clients, where we actually do online marketing for them, is that they have this raw data and they even have the engagement metrics and the click-through rates and the whatnot. They have all of that, but they don't know what to do with it. It's not in a palatable, tangible, actionable. It's not presented in that way, so they don't know how to use it. So we need to do the analysis. That same problem we have also solved in our Colossio AI platform, which I can actually show.
Steph, I actually wanted to ask, sorry to jump in, I actually wanted to ask if you don't mind switching over to the Colossio audiences. I think it's quite a good, good part, yeah.
Do I have it ready? Yes, I do have it ready. Awesome. Yes. Okay, so at the ready, this is audiences. This is effectively how we as marketers would present it to the client. In this case, this is why we built Colossio AI, is to present the data to you in a very usable way. So, for example, it took that audience data that we just did based on engagement, based on clicks, and it fizzled it down into your 3 major audience personas, which we would have done manually, which you are now, which I'm showing you to do with Perplexity. Colossio does it for you. So it breaks down the audience or the audience into personas, gives their demographics, their interests and behaviors, gives a write-up so that you can have like context of who this persona is, right?
But the great part, Steph, I think, is that
go for it.
Specifically because it's dynamic, I think we have these ideas of who we're trying to speak to, what our ICP looks like. However, that can also change, and I think that live feedback from a platform like Colossio really helps to kind of iron those out over time. But this isn't a Colossio demo.
This isn't a Colossio demo, but yes.
Practical stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just the problem that we have seen in having to do it manually. It's taking out the audiences as well as the lookalike audiences, that secondary audience. So going back to how you're using Perplexity here. So we're pulling out those variables, right? You're pulling out the demographics, your audience demographics. What's also important is the timing of your engagement, when what is happening, the format, the most successful formats, and this may be images, videos, carousels, shorts, short format versus long format, And then your keyword analysis, literally what words to use, what words have the biggest impact. And then, of course, just giving this prompt a goal, like what do you want out of this prompt? I can show you here. This is where I prompt Perplexity, and going down, we've got your demographics, your age range, gender. The thing is, we didn't specify gender in most of our ads, which means that gender may not be relevant and there may not be any data to actually riff off of. But if you did, that would be present here. Got your interest, your engagement timing. It gives you suggestions and breakdown. No, it gives you a breakdown of what worked in the past, and your ad format analysis. Clearly, videos work for us. We should lean into our video. Images slightly less. Apparently, carousels not at all. So and it just gives a breakdown as why it's working. And your keyword analysis, as you see, if you're familiar with Colosseo, you'll see we do use a lot of this wording, of these words. So it's really important to just see what worked in the past. You're also going to use those variables later on to compare to what comes next. So now we've gone from the insight, taking your raw data, determining what your top ads are. Next level will be determining the variables that made up those top ads. Your next step is going to be a bit further. And now we're going to start looking at your competitors, right? Because you don't want to be siloed by just what works for you. You want to see what's happening out there. So the next kind of circle would be a small competitor analysis based on those variables, because you need to compare it to something, right? Okay, so you've got your task here. Identify your 3 main competitors. You're going to pull out a list of names. You're going to determine the high engagement ads, the messaging, the language that they use, specific keywords used, as well as the audience that they target, right? And of course, the goal here is to later on inspire your own campaign, so that Perplexity or the AI understands that we don't just want information. We want to use this information to build something later on with it. Okay. So in this case, we're going to go, I gave it the prompt there, and here we go. Our biggest competitors are the HubSpots and the Salesforces of this world. I've got access to their social media, which is great. So I can physically go check it out and maybe just see what kind of creative they're using, how their layout is using. If I just want a bit of a deep dive there. High engagement ads, it breaks down their highest engaging ads, as well as a breakdown of the messaging, the language, and the keywords that they use. Now, you'll notice again, Colosseo, we've leveraged a lot of this lingo because we are competitive in the marketplace. So this should then inspire you to think, okay, cool. I'm either on par with my competitors at this point, or I take a slightly different route than my competitors. But you don't have to worry about that, because at this point, we are just feeding the AI. The AI is learning as we go. It understands your data now, and now it understands your competitors. Okay. We are now going to move one circle, our last final circle, before we start actually looking at campaigns, right? And this would be industry trends. Now, the thing with industry trends is that it may be fleeting, but it is high impact, high engagement. It's a high engagement format. So it's definitely something to tap into, not necessarily rely on, but it can be a good measure to see if your marketing campaigns are on par with your industry at large. You can even use it to check if your services are on par. So in this case, we're going to feed the AI the last set of information you want for it to determine what campaigns would be most effective for you right now. So when it comes to your trends, you're going to ask trending topics, again, keywords and call to actions, and then audience segmentation. Again, I love a trend. A trend is very good for engagement, but it cannot be a long-term vision. This is just to add on to what works, So with the trends, what we did in this case is, here we go, trend analysis. We have trending topics for Colossia. We've got marketing automation, AI integration, lead generation. We've got popular keywords. And now at this point, you can start feeling even more like, okay, in comparison to my competitors, and now in comparison to industry trends, how does my marketing strategy align? So you can kind of start getting a feel of what to expect when the campaign comes. But again, at this point, you're just feeding information to the AI. You're giving more and more context for it to generate from. Audience segmentation for trends would be marketing professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs, and those are exactly who we're looking for. One additional segment, audience segment that I like drilling down on is your secondary audiences. They may be a gold mine, or there may be a gold mine of segments that don't perfectly align with your primary audience or your primary customer base, but there may be pockets of niche industries, of niche consumer bases that you may want to tap into just to diversify your marketing reach. So secondary audiences are important as well. And now you've done your analysis. Now you've gone from raw data to top campaigns, to variables, to competitors, to the industry trends at large. And now the AI has a lot of context and a lot of information. It knows what works and what doesn't. And from here on, we're going into your fifth prompt, which would be your generating your campaigns. And now you can have a ball because it has a lot of context now. Now you're going to ask it for ideas generating. You're going to generate 3 campaigns. I would recommend limiting it to generating 3 or 5 campaigns at a time, and rather than afterwards tweaking those campaigns, like suggesting make a campaign for this specific audience or for this specific product, but see what it kicks out first before just asking for 20 campaigns, right? This may also, if you ask for too many, it may also just muddy the data a bit that it uses, which would make it difficult for it to respond to the prompts that follow if you do want to kind of hone it in a bit. Okay, so propose 3, you can ask for 3 titles, you can ask for messaging, specific audience segmentation, which at this point there's a lot of context on, and then an online strategy. And an online strategy is something that marketers, we do this, we build the strategy ourselves, we know how to. If you know how to, this can purely be just a kickoff point. But if you're a business owner and you don't have a lot of marketing knowledge and you are kind of new to this, this may be a great indicator or something to build off of. You can ask the AI to maybe give a more elaborate online strategy for one of these campaigns. And then lastly would be your alignment check. Now, the alignment check is important. Yes, the AI has learned a lot from the previous points, but you do want to just ensure, just as a final hurrah, just to for it to connect the suggested campaigns to what was mentioned previously. And that's why this alignment check is really important. So this is how it then turned out for Colossia. We asked it for 3 titles: the messaging, audience segmentation, online strategy, and the alignment. So these are the titles that we've received. This is the campaign we've received, the different titles, the messaging. You can even specify more than messaging. You can give it 2 different kinds of messaging, change the tone of the messaging based on a specific audience. Audience segmentation it provides, again, loving the primary audience as well as a secondary audience, so that you kind of cover all your bases there. Your strategy, in this case, post to social media, educational webinars, which look at look what we're doing right now. And then your alignment check, again, just tying it into the information at the back. This is both for you and for the AI to ensure that what it suggests aligns with the data that it has received. And then the same goes for the next coming campaigns. So there we have it. In 5 very simple steps, we have you have now done a full analysis of your marketing strategy, and you've created campaigns that you can use for the foreseeable future. If you wanted to layer, for example, if you wanted to do this campaign right now, you may want to add in this generating campaigns, you may want to add that this is the last quarter of this year. So it may customize it to something like the festive season coming up. So again, play with these prompts. If you want access to these prompts, you literally just copy paste it in. Just drop Colossio in the comments and we will send you a link to get access to this document. Okay. Sound good?
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, and if anyone has any more suggestions for prompts that they're looking for, any kind of automation that they're struggling with in the marketing space, we'll create another webinar for that as we do this. We try to do this twice a month. So yeah, let us know. Lekker.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Have an amazing day.